what's happening in Serbia. For the last 3 months, there are like huge anti-corruption protests, which turned out to be the biggest protest in the history of Serbia and probably the most important student movement since 1968. So just for the curiosity, who does not have any idea or has no clue that is happening? Majority, which means that it's probably more important than we think, because mainstream media are simply silent about this. So it proves the theory that you will not see what is the real revolution on the TV. If you allow me 2 minutes of just short introduction why I think I'm relevant to talk here about that, I would like to present myself as a payment expert, blockchain enthusiast, and part-time revolutionary. So having in mind that I was born and raised in Yugoslavia, my parents were both protesting with the student movement in 1968. Then from 90s to 2000, I was living under a dictatorship of Milosevic regime, which means in 92, I was protesting as a high school student against the war. In 95, 96, I was protesting as a graduate student against the fraud election, Milosevic regime, and whatever is happening to us. As a postgraduate student in 2000, I joined the student movement that finally overthrew the Milosevic regime. And then after a short and unsuccessful transition from 2012 till 2019, when I moved to Malta, I live in the autocratic regime of the current government. Quite interesting life now. At that time, I mean, of course, there was some protest and resistance, but the role of this period, at least, I was like passing the information to the kids that were growing up in my house about what is the resistance, what is the autocracy, what are the manipulations. And apparently I did my job good, because all these kids are now on the first line of the blockade. So what we learn about all these protests is how we were manipulated, what mistakes we did. But for sure, 3 things are sure. Young people are always fighting for the right thing, for the justice and against autocracy and evil in the society. The history always showed that the young people were on the right side of the history after all this time. And what definitely will never change, any change in society will not happen unless young generation students don't take a lead. So these are the lessons from all my revolutionary past. So, I mean, first I'd like just to explain how why these protests were triggered and what actually happened. So, on 1st of November, the newly renovated railway station in the Novi Sad, which is the 2nd largest city in Serbia, the part this called canopy of concrete collapsed and killed 15 people and severely injured 2. This was just opened ceremonially by the government for the 2nd time few months before, and was a government project led by Chinese and local, numerous local constructors, costs who knows how many millions. The first reaction of the government after that tragedy was that they said, unbelievably, that we did such a great project, such a great job, such an amazing railway station, but the only thing we didn't do, and we cannot explain why, we didn't renovate that canopy part. And probably it's because it was bad constructed. The original building was constructed in the 1961 and represent the masterpiece of the modern architecture, by the way. So such a lie and arrogance that it was not really hard was to understand. But what happened on the next day is that one of the engineers that was working on the project came out publicly on the TV and showed the documentation proving that actually it was part of the project, and that nothing was done on it, or whatever was done was wrong. So that triggered the people to go out first on the streets of Novi Sad, to stand on the street in silence, without speeches, without any political, how to say, talks. It was just the shock, the frustration, and the general understanding that we are all in danger, that all these projects, no, still, are done. So, I mean, this is what triggered protest. But what was the reaction of the government and the regime was even more shocking, that they started to attack and to provoke incidents of the people that were sitting in silence. This kind of protest from the street also moved to the students and high school children that were protesting in front every day, 15 minutes at the time of the tragedy, in front of their schools. And representatives of regimes and supporters of them were attacking them by the vehicles, by cars. And I mean, the reason for that is that they were trying to they were all in silence and without the violence. So the government was trying to provoke the incident so that they will have to justify the use of police power to, stop this protest. And the reason is because they have a really huge infrastructure projects coming, like Expo 2027, which is estimated to be the biggest robbery in the history. So that's the reason why they were trying to provoke very brutal attacks on the silent and peaceful students, but that, on the other hand, triggered the reaction of people who start to unite, to join in the groups, to organize the way to protect the children, including agriculture, motorcycles, IT experts. So this all spread in people joining in the Viber groups, in WhatsApp groups, and organizing and supporting the students and trying to protect them. But you're not playing my videos.
I'm on it. I have it here.
Sorry.
3 minutes left. Huh?
But we move to the next one now.
Okay. You want me to play this one?
Yeah, please, sorry. So after attacking a group of students, physically attacking a group of students in front of Faculty of Drama Arts, students practically start to organize 24 hours blockade of the universities, and were all supported by their professors and rectors. So the way the student organized, used the the concept of the students' plenum, where everyone can participate without their, let's say, ideological regardless the ideological or political stance, and they, in joint consensus, decided what will be the demands and when the blockade will stop. So their demands were that transparency, that the whole documentation about that project should be published publicly, and of course asking accountability for those that are responsible. And the methods that the protests were using were actually, the main principle is that they completely decentralized. First of all, there were no designated leaders that could be targets. All decisions were taken by consensus of the majority on the plenums. There were no official representatives of the protests, so they were practically rotating, always deciding on the plenum who will give the speech and represent them in media, so that they couldn't target anyone. There were no any political affiliations, so neither the parties or government NGOs, of course, this was completely, no violence, so they resisted all of these really brutal attacks even the organization, the students that were organizing the security of the protest were protecting attackers from the citizens, because you can imagine what amount of anger was on attacking your kids with the vehicles. So they were, you know, like making them live safe. So single attack, single incident. The actions that they were making were like blockades of traffic points for 24 hours without a single incident. So, I mean, everything was absolutely perfectly organized, and the most of all, I mean, this is a cultural protest. After organizing 24-hour blockade of the 3 bridges in Novi Sad, they extended blockades for another 3 hours to be able to go back and pick up all the garbage. 20K people were on this protest, so a single paper didn't left behind them. I mean, I put here just what methods of manipulation the government was using and how all of their failed. So known and traditional manipulation methods that they are using were developed and implemented in Germany in the 30s. And they are repeating this endlessly till now. So this is the new generation that does not understand that language, and it doesn't mean much to them. So for me, the most beautiful part of this protest was how they dismantled completely the whole system of lies. So I listed here all manipulation methods that he used. I mean, in one moment, they published the documentation, but this documentation was analyzed. I mean, the president came and said, there are 15,000 pages, who will read that? So they read, of course, students of technical university with professors and experts, and it turned out that there is, I mean, documents that must be part of the project that are definitely not published, including the flows of money. So I'll just put here my favorites. I mean, they call them anarchists, which apparently they are not. And also, I mean, all foreign alliances that openly supported, one more sentence, openly supported president were US officials, Chinese officials, Russian officials, German officials. EU so far didn't have any official announcements, neither supporting, not condemning anyone. So in this, it was really nice to see the world finally united again against the students of Serbia. So that I highlighted as my favorites. I mean, I don't have any time more. I just wanted, I mean, but what happened, just the conclusion here, the most important thing is that all this system of ruling by fear and is dismantled completely. So what is most important, that people are now united about the idea. People are not afraid anymore, because in the autocracy people are afraid. That's what is the whole goal of manipulation, to polarize people. And the most important, the hope is back to the people. This was something that we were, I mean, it became like, how to say, the cultural norm. We cannot change anything. They are all the same. All governments are corrupted, more or less. The next will be worse than that. So we are free of fear and apathy. And if nothing, that's what is the biggest success of this protest. So this was the shortest I could.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention. So
We have a very short Q&A session for some people if they really have an important question on their mind that they want to ask Liliana now in public, or maybe later at the bar. Are there any questions? Up with the hands. Quick question, quick answer. Don't be shy. We have a tight schedule, but there's room for one question. No question about the Serbian revolution? Okay, one question here.
Yeah, just super interesting. Just very shortly, what's the current state of this? Like,
You mean what next?
yeah, like
We have no idea.
so this is basically the current state. Those.
Till yesterday. I mean, people are really now, I wanted to say one, maybe just a comment, because there are now multiple groups joining. So, for example, IT experts from Novi Sad, Niš, and all over Serbia have their groups. There are 20,000 of them in groups, and they're thinking, and I mean, there are activities happening. Not all are public, of course, because we want to surprise the enemy. There are initiatives to finish, I mean, to abolish this Expo 2027, which is enormous robbery, global, not only local. There are initiatives actually of organizing public walking, civil plenum, where we could maybe extend this way of decisioning above university. So elections are not an option, though, as well. So it's not nice situation, and we'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we're going to hear from you again once the revolution is done.
Yes. Okay. On the television.
So if you follow us on our social medias, you might have seen a little video that we are posting some time ago, and that was about my summer holiday when I actually traveled to Serbia to evangelize them about blockchain technology. It's a true story. So we are in contact with a community of entrepreneurs and innovators in Niš, in the south of Serbia. Of course, when Liliana contacted me, I reached out to them immediately because it is very important for us that we are building bridges. It was not possible to have a two-way live stream. We didn't figure it out yet. So the leading guy in Niš sent us a little video. They know that we spoke about the situation in Serbia today. So before we transition into the next presentation with Fran, where we talk about harvesting the future and DeFi, we have a little video. I hope it works technically. I'm going to hit the play button now, and there should be a sound. And then there's a short message from our friends in Niš that are going through this right now. They're actively participating. And frankly, they're just trying to build a better future for themselves, not only with the protest, but also in general. They have an engineering mindset, and they're very interested in all kinds of technology, but also specifically blockchain technology. So let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the evening over
His name is Yugoslav, by the way.
there. I would like to thank you all for coming tonight and all of you watching the stream. Big thanks to the organizers for inviting me to give you a big hug from Serbia for supporting us. My name is Jugoslav Stankovic, and I manage one of the biggest co-working spaces in the region, in the city of Niš. I'm also a member of the recently formed group of IT companies, which has around 15,000 members from all of the cities who are supporting students in their fight for the cause which concerns all of us. I suppose Liliana told you everything regarding that. Big hug, Lilio. So the plan was to go live from the protest, but currently the students are marching on foot from all the bigger cities to the gathering point in the city of Kragujevac, which is positioned in the central Serbia. Over there we will organize the biggest protest so far on Saturday, 15th of February, which is the statehood day of Serbia. They are going on foot. Some groups are also running around 40 kilometers or 10 hours each day. Some of them traveling for more than 200 kilometers in total to express their concern about the future of Serbia. And there are thousands of them. Therefore, we must be grateful for what they are doing for the rest of us and help them as much as we can. Regarding collaboration with students, you can talk to Lilia. And regarding collaboration with our hub, we have around 30 bigger or smaller companies under our roof, and all of them are interested in everything regarding digital AI, Web3 or blockchain. So whoever is interested in some sort of cooperation can address to Feres so he can connect us. Once again, a huge thanks, a big hug and an open heart from Serbia for supporting us. You can watch the live channel on YouTube from the students. Just put in some student protest Serbia or something and watch them live. Bye bye.
He will later see the applause. Okay, so it was not in vain. Yes, Yugoslav is actually quite serious about this, and I also told them to come to Malta. I told them to buy Bitcoin. Of course, I couldn't help myself. But they are seriously considering of sending a delegation to Malta in like a business-focused mindset. And it would be amazing if some of you are interested in what is going on there, also for the business opportunity, and maybe we can visit them as well as a community in the future. Let's see. So now we are going to go, I know some of you have been waiting for that, to the bread and butter of our industry, and that is the DeFi. Recently it was more like reduced fat butter, like what is it called, margarine? Yeah. Okay, I hope the fat days are coming back again, and I'm pretty optimistic they will, because we have Fran, the man from the Bit Research, who will tell us all about it. He did some amazing research on AI agents, gave us a little pitch 3 weeks ago, then he clicked the refresh button and he was not happy with what he saw, so he did a detour and changed it and told me, I will brew the next evolution of DeFi together, or at least he's going to give an outlook on what is going to happen now. I want to be clear, today we have a packed program and we didn't have much time, but we are always going to have time for Q&A. Many of the things that Fran is saying here are quite advanced, but don't hesitate and don't be shy to ask questions. Fran,